Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. For those of you who celebrate the 4th of July, I want to wish you all a very happy upcoming 4th of July. And for those of you who are in countries that don't celebrate the 4th of July, I wish you a happy summer celebration. On the Waltons, although we never had a specific 4th of July episode, we did have any number of celebrations and sometimes just things that were summer fun. So I thought as we are now launched into summer, that perhaps I'd highlight some episodes where the Waltons had some celebrations and spent a little time clearly doing summer activities like getting wet or playing in Drucilla's pond or splashing in the front yard hose. So here we go with some of the highlights of the Waltons celebrating. In the episode The Sinner, it is really hot and the family is waiting for the arrival of the new minister, who will turn out to be Reverend Fordwick, played by the fabulous John Ritter. And because it's really hot and they've been waiting so long, eventually John has had enough and says, let's have some fun. The kids put on their swimsuits and we splash around in the hose. And of course, that is when the Reverend arrives. We also saw a lot of fishing, which could be not necessarily strictly a summer activity, but in the courtship, we saw Grandpa and Cody go fishing. It also was a nice opportunity sometimes for characters to have a quiet moment where they could talk about things that were on their mind. In season 2's The Heritage, there was ultimately a lot to celebrate, but we see Grandpa and John Boy in the hot springs, which was where that infamous mooning incident occurred that is not on camera, but we've heard a lot about in our blooper reels. We then had a picnic by the pond where the whole family was there, and they discussed, what it might mean to have the money they would get from the sale of the land and the house. And then eventually it was Grandma and Grandpa's anniversary party, and everybody came out to celebrate and watch Grandpa dance a jig and twirl Grandma around. Also in season 2, we had the Triangle, where we had a little bit of a fair or festival, a gathering there by Drucilla's pond. And we had a stake driving contest and various different things. And we see that some of the Walton children had indeed been in the pool because they're in their swimsuits and Grandpa's saying they can't go in until after they let their food digest. In the episode The Prize, we had another fair, and Grandma and Olivia both entered items into the fair. Grandma did not win with her quilt. Olivia did win with her raspberry cake with the secret ingredient of the recipe. Barn dances also featured prominently in a lot of the celebrations on Walton's Mountain. We see one at the end of the episode, The Song, where Jason is playing guitar and Sally has been singing, and Ben comes and ultimately sort of reconciles with her about his crush on her. In The Genius, of course, we had a couple of incidents of water because I spray Lyle when I think he's being a complete dork when I'm in the garden. And then we have a whole celebration that he's involved with where he steps up and kind of helps save the day, but some sort of a celebration going on there. And then at the end, the return favor of the water when Lyle pours a glass of water on my head. Season 5, we have various different episodes with things happening. Once again, we are fishing in the comeback. Yancey and Jason find themselves at the fishing hole. And I'm not sure who's giving who advice, but I would think any advice from Yancey could be highly suspect. In the episode The Night Walker, they are planning a dance at Godsey Hall, but lots of scary things they think are happening. And until they are able to sort that out, nobody wants to attend the dance. But then once they discover that it is actually the harmless Lauren who has been making these bird cages and things like that, and they recognize what's happening, and they do indeed have the dance, and Lauren actually does attend with his mother. In the two-part episode, The Wedding, when Mary Ellen gets married, we do have that. We have a couple things. We have Picnic on the Mountain with the two couples, David and Mary Ellen, and Nora and Kurt. And then we have that hard luck dance that really is sort of the ultimate turning point in the relationship between Kurt and Mary Ellen. So the community once again gathers to have a party, but once again, in a good cause. And there are many sorts of activities that will gather a community together, especially in a smaller community like where the Waltons were. So there was also the case of the motorcycle race that Jim Bob was involved with, and that sort of gathered everybody to cheer on their favorite contestants. In our case, we were cheering on Jim Bob. The episode, The Rebellion, as Olivia is working her way through wanting some sort of a change in her life, there's a point where the family once again has a picnic near the pond. I don't remember if we see the pond or whether they have just created that area near the pond as some sort of a little picnic area, and the family gathers, and Olivia is bemoaning the fact that everything's the same in her life. And we all seem perfectly happy with things being the same, including the taste of her wonderful fried chicken. More activities on Drucilla's Pond are seen in the episode The Heartbreaker, when Jason takes Vanessa out by the pond and takes her into a boat, and also just sits by the pond and sings this song that he has written for her. In the episode The Long Night, Grandpa once again finds himself at the pond as he is missing Grandma and going through all of that. And in this case, he is feeding the ducks. So whether fishing or feeding the ducks or things like that, water had a way of calming Grandpa in particular. We also see in this episode Amy and Elizabeth picking wildflowers down by the creek. So more water featured in the Long Night episode. In season 6, we have the episode The Celebration, and indeed we do see a celebration by the end of the episode. Spring Fever in season 6, we get to see a hayride. So that's everybody kind of going out and enjoying themselves on that. So another way of just creating your own sort of entertainment and activities when there wasn't a lot of money and there weren't a lot of big sort of places to go or things to do. So people created their own fun. So we see that. And then we also see Grandpa at the Baldwins, and he is trying to cheer them up, and they have an afternoon playing croquet. So another easy at-home fun activity. In the episode, The Festival, we see there is a concert that once Jason pulls out of that official sort of concert thing because they will not let Josh participate in that, then they create their own festival. And Jason plays, and Josh does indeed come in and share his wonderful trumpet playing with the community. One of my favorite episodes and gatherings was the season 7 finale, which was Founders Day, when Jason plays his composition Appalachian Mountain. And everybody sort of gathers in the front yard of the Waltons to hear that. And ultimately his professor does show up, and there is a happy ending to that. So however you and your family choose to celebrate the 4th of July or your own summer celebration, here are some various different opportunities that I have presented that the Waltons made use of. So whether you go swimming in a pond or in a hose, I remember we did that as a child, sprinklers on and running through the sprinklers to cool off in the summer days. Or whether you do something more creative like a hayride, or you play croquet, or you have a party in your front or backyard, a barbecue, whatever it is that gathers you, your family, your friends, your community together in celebration. Enjoy your day and your celebration. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons about episodes. I'll have more of your questions in another segment of Ask Judy. And also coming up very shortly will be my conversation with actor Kelly Ward, who I just spoke about recently when I covered the episode The Violated. He played Frank Thatcher. So look out for that in the next few segments. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.